Don't blink! Ravemon Gonna Get Ya is a deck that features the best bird avian Digimon in the Digimon trading card game. To be practical for this video, there is not a lot of flexibility in the deck. The overall general skeleton is identical to many players, and ultimately it comes down to tech cards you prioritize, which like always I'll cover in the card by card. My variant may be what is optimal for my style and locals, but for you may consider other options that I go over. I don't have all the answers, but I do give you a place to start. For your level 2s, you have two primary options to run. EX4 Pinamon for the memory gain if your Digimon is deleted outside of battle, or Demimeramon for the draw 1 trash 1 mechanic on deletion. Pinamon is good in that it supplements your Ravemon from the same set. Since it has jamming regardless if it's deleted by option card or game mechanic, you're good for that memory gain. Demimeramon helps set up the trash for your Ravemon should you have a purple Tamer and promote a BT13 Chromon out. For other substitutions, you could run the new Kapurimon and BT13 as well. This is another way to delete floodgates and to guarantee other effects and memory gain. But in the current meta, the most played floodgates will be Psychmon, Chikurimon, and Solarmon for their counter effects against Gizmon, and of course, the Royal Knights. Level 3 wise, you won't see too many changes from list to list again, but you have small text you could incorporate into your build as well. For my build, this is all the control tricks and memory return, so I use Tsukaimon as my third level 3 outside of Falcomons. You could honestly use Psychmons as well for slowing down your opponent, but you don't want to Digivolve over them as you'll lose their effect. BT13 Falcomon can give one of your Digimon on-play retaliation, and on deletion inheritable that if deleted outside of battle, your opponent trashes one card in their hand. EX4 has the same inheritable and is your generic searcher. Again, not too many substitutions because you'll need at least one bird avian trait Digimon to proc Ravemon's effect. Level 4 wise, you'll want to run the Peckmons regardless. One lets you play Keenan Crier if you don't have him in play, and the other has Blocker. Both if deleted outside of battle can trash one card in your opponent's hand. As for a tertiary level 4, there are a few you can select from. Lowemon is the first I use in this deck because of the hybrid for game aspect. Remember, Ravemon on deletion could potentially gain you a lot of memory. As a result, you may have simply hybrid for game. Another option if you don't want to run the hybrid could be Dividramon for more memory control. Either is viable, but there are still other options that I haven't tested with. Saberdramon may be another option as this Digimon is a giant bird trait Digimon, which means all of your Digimon except Tsukaimon are searchable. Another alternative could be Ginkakumon Promote, because this could be played from trash via BT13 Chromon's inheritable effect. At this point in the list, there aren't a lot of substitutions left in the level 5, 6, and 7 category. With your level 5s, you'll want Chromon from EX4 and BT13. One lets you Digivolve in a Ravemon from trash if you generically have a Tamer in play, and the other does the same thing but from hand and requires a purple Tamer. Both require you to pay the Digivolution cost, but on the bright side have inheritables that can either 1. On deletion outside of battle, play one level 4 or lower purple Digimon card from trash without paying the cost, or number 2. On deletion outside of battle, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Both have their utility cases, but in order to maintain searchability, you'll likely be stuck with these. Ravemon for all intensive purposes has only 2 printings. The first from EX4 has jamming for a level 6 and can end of attack delete itself with the stipulation that if there's a Digivolution card with bird or avian in its traits, you can play it back out from trash at the end of your opponent's turn without paying cost. On deletion, if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, they trash 1. Then if they have 7 or fewer cards, they add the top card of their security to hand. In some matchups, your opponent may have too many cards to do anything, but this is why we have inheritables which can trash not one, but multiple cards at a time. As for BT13, this Digimon has an end of turn effect that lets you delete it, again with the same stipulations to play it at the end of your opponent's turn. On deletion, you may play one Falcomon or Keenan Crier from hand or trash without paying cost. One downside to this Ravemon is that it does cost 4 to Digivolve into. Some players choose to run this at 1 instead of 2. Sometimes though, I had issues finding a Ravemon, but with Digivolving from trash also as an option, it can be nice. Burst Mode. Contrary to other decks running 3 of them, feels significantly less powerful in this deck. While true, the when attacking effect can be useful, the main thing you want is that when digivolving effect. Searching your opponent's hand and trashing one card, that's some value and knowledge. Its when attacking effect is reminiscent of BT1 Omnimon, but is definitely a good counter for decks that have multiple copies of cards. Gizmon and all their sequential forms are great targets against Belphemon decks. Other considerations I looked at were Shine Greymon Ruin Mode, but this Digimon has no synergy with Ravemon, just more so a board control element. Against Royal Knights, it felt very mediocre. Option card wise, it's very minimal. 2 Amino Ahabari and 2 Purple Memory Boost. 1 acts as removal, or general sacrificing of your Ravemon in order to bring it back if it doesn't have any Digivolution sources, and deleting one of your opponent's Digimon. Purple Memory Boost can be useful to find your pieces, though if you're really feeling spicy, you could tech in a Calling from Darkness instead. And finally, 8 Tamers in the form of Keenan Crier from BT13, EX4, and Analog Youth. BT13 Keenan Crier has become more popular in decks as of late, Chessmon and Sukamon in particular. It has an optional effect that lets your opponent trash a Tamer or option card in their hand, which if they don't, you gain 1 memory and draw 1 card. Opponent's turn generically when a Digimon is played by effect, gain 1 memory. Other Keenan is a memory fixer, and if one of your Ravemon, Bird, or Avian Digimon is deleted, you get to suspend this Tamer to draw 1. If it was deleted by card effect, also gain 1 memory. But Analog Youth brings it all together in a way to search and trash certain cards. And though you might trash Keenan, fret not. BT13 Ravemon has you covered. Strength-wise, you have so many ways to disrupt your opponent's strategy. If they trash cards from hands, you get an idea of what they're okay with losing, but also input on what other goodies they may hold on to later when you reveal the whole hand. However, its weaknesses lie in several other decks in the format. Mirage, though not as popular right now, can bounce your Digimon before they're deleted. Likewise, Belphemon is arguably your worst matchup, as you trash cards in their hand for them, accelerating what they want there when you don't want them to be. And of course, Royal Knights can just be really big and beefy in security. In terms of speed, it lags behind a lot of the other burst mode decks as well, considering they have many more surges to this deck's 1 Falcomon. But ideally, for your combos, you'll want to build in the raise 1 bird at a time. To pass turn, set up your Tamers, but when you finally promote out, send that Chromon into battle. If you're lucky, Analog Youth may have set up your Ravemon and trash for BT13 Chromon, but if you have EX4, you can Digivolve from hand assuming you have any of your purple Tamers in play. And then starts the loop of Ravemon. Jamming especially can be great because you don't care if this Digimon gets deleted by effect or game mechanic. De-Digivolve though? Definitely a problem. But assuming you can check security and delete, that's an easy 2-card trash in hand before Ravemon takes out a 3rd. With the decline in popularity of X-antibody decks, triggering Ravemon's secondary effect is much more viable considering they don't have cards that are drawn by Coolboy. But in general, what are your thoughts on Ravemon as a deck? Personally, I think the deck is still a little too slow to keep pace with the meta, but who knows? No future support looks like it'll make its way into this archetype soon, as Promo Saberdramon is still unknown for its release. Let me know what you'd change about the deck, and I'll catch you on another future deck profile. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.